Welcome, wonderful dreamers. Today I am finally making the pizza sauce, or marinara sauce. It is just a base sauce that I can build up different flavors when I use it in future dishes. The first thing to do is get the frozen tomatoes in the fridge to defrost overnight. I'm choosing to follow a method from an experienced canner. Now that it is the next day. Removing the skins from the tomatoes should be fairly easy. The soft tomatoes are easily squeezed out. And the firmer ones I will peel. I take breaks, because after about 10 minutes my fingers are very cold. I will save the skins to make tomato powder. I have just under 11.5 kilos of homegrown tomatoes. My guess is 75% of them are Roma tomatoes, with cherry and slicing tomatoes making up the other 25%. Now I have a full bowl, I will start the cooking process. The slow cooker has been in storage for months. It will need to be cleaned before I can use it. The recipe I have chosen to use goes by cups of tomatoes. I squish them down to make sure it is a full cup of tomatoes, and then count how many cups I have. I will link recipes from reputable sources in the description. While that cooks down, I will continue peeling tomatoes. Not the best job to do, but until I get myself a food meal, I will do it by hand. While the sauce has cooked down, I don't think I have enough room in the slow cooker this year. Yep, I need a bigger pot. All of this might fit. However, I still have a smaller bowl of tomatoes to fit into this slow cooker. I let the sauce reduce a bit. Now I'll transfer it to a bigger pot. This is much better and easier to handle. Now I add the rest and let it reduce on a low heat for a couple of hours. Then I add the bottled lemon juice. You can also use citrus acid. Just check the recipe for amounts needed. Then I add dehydrated homegrown basil. Then salt and pepper. Yes, I absolutely forgot to have the amount of pepper I put in, so this year's sauce has a touch of a bite to it. I put the chopped up garlic into the air fryer. before adding it to the sauce. Now to blend the sauce with an immersion blender. At this point, you can run the sauce through a sieve to make it smoother. However, I don't mind the rustic texture and prefer to skip that job. The sauce can now continue to reduce a little more, giving the herbs and spices time to do their magic. The house smells amazing. Now for the important and must-not skip job, the taste test. That is yummy. The pizza sauce is ready to be canned. To water bath can the pizza sauce. I fill a large pot with water, a rack to keep jars from touching the bottom of the pot, and white vinegar to help prevent mineral deposits on the jars. Now I need the water to come to a rolling boil. Water boils at approximately 100 degrees Celsius, depending on your atmosphere. The recipe I'm using calls for 35 minutes processing time. Because of the altitude here in Canberra, I need to add an extra 5 minutes to that time. I'm using 500 milliliter Aussie mason jars. I need to fill the jars and leave half an inch headspace. I will fill the first jar and find the line I can fill the rest to. That way I don't need to measure every jar. Excellent, I have my line. Then I wipe the rims with a paper towel dipped into vinegar. It helps make sure there is a clean surface for the lid and help facilitate a good seal. I'll place the lids on, then put the rings on, doing them up until they are fingertip tight. The jars were sanitized in the dishwasher, so they are warm. The sauce is still hot, so I'm putting hot jars into hot water. The pot can fit 5 jars, but then they knock each other. So I stay on the safe side and only process 4 at a time. Once all 4 jars are in the pot, I make sure they are covered with at least 1 inch of water. Cover and bring back to a rolling boil before I start the timer. While I wait, I will continue filling the jars. The last jar doesn't have enough sauce in it to be safely water bath canned. It will go into the fridge and be the first jar to be used. The water sounds ready. I will take the temperature and start the timer. Need a few more minutes. Now that it is at a rolling boil, I will cover the top with a tea towel and let the processing time start. I'll finish preparing the last 3 jars, then have a break while I wait for the timer. I'll clean up as well. All ready to be processed. Label the jar for the fridge. I will put it in the fridge once it has cooled down. Excellent. The first batch is done. Now I just need to repeat the process 2 more times. That is what a rolling boil looks like. I also like to call it Bubble Mountain. Once the processing time is finished, I turn the heat off and let it all cool down for about 5 minutes before removing the jars. Okay, one more lot to be processed. Done. Now to leave them alone for 12 to 24 hours, and to listen out for the clacking that can tell you it is sealed. Unfortunately, I didn't catch the clacking sounds on film this time. It's been over 24 hours. So now I can clean the jars, dry them, and label them. The jars can be sticky and have dried bits under the rings. They are now shelf-stable and ready for the pantry. What did you think of today's video? Let me know in the comments. I hope you had a good day.